The Young and the Restless spoilers for Wednesday, April 16, reveal that Kyle Abbott and Jack Abbott will uncover some trickery while Victor Newman lures Billy Abbott into a setup. First, let's talk about Audra Charles, who'll downplay the risks as she tries to sell Nate Hastings on her partnership with Victor. Nate won't understand why Audra would trust Victor after the way he treated her in the past, but she'll pretend Victor genuinely wants to make things right. Audra will try to convince Nate that she's in control this time around and that she won't get burned. Nate will find that difficult to believe and will no doubt assume Victor has some sort of an agenda here. However, Audra will lie about Victor's motives and obviously won't come clean about the trap she's supposed to set for Kyle. Speaking of traps, Victor will have one in mind for Billy as well on Wednesday's I&R episode. Since Victor knows Aristotle Dumas reached out to Billy, perhaps he'll try to dupe Billy into revealing more about their alliance. No matter how it all goes down, Victor will indeed attempt to pull Billy into a setup, so we'll see if Billy takes the bait. Over with Kyle and Jack, they'll do some digging at Jabat and uncover more proof that Victor's up to no good. Jack and Kyle already suspected there were additional spies besides Matheson, so they may figure out exactly who the other spies are soon enough. Regardless, Kyle and Jack will uncover more trickery at the company, but they'll strategize and plan to make all of this work to their advantage. Now that Jack and Kyle have resolved to use Victor's own spies against him, they'll move forward with the next step of their plan. Jack will even gloat to Victor a little later, so he'll be brimming with confidence along with Kyle. Despite Kyle and Jack's prediction about gaining the upper hand, no one can keep Victor down for long. Victor tends to get the last laugh, so Jack and Kyle had better be ready for whatever else he might throw at them. The Young and the Restless spoilers say the Newman-Abbott feud will get pretty wild in the coming weeks, so stick with us for updates on all the exciting news to come. CDL will have other scorching Young and the Restless spoilers, news, and updates to read up on, so visit us often for more Y&R info. Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel, Pulse Canvas. It's me, Julie here. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Keep watching, so let's dive into today's video. The Young and the Restless spoilers document that Summer Newman has two issues she's facing simultaneously. Having to deal with both problems won't allow a needed complete focus on either. Phyllis Summers is spitting out as she grapples with the post-traumatic effects of being kidnapped. It's possible that Summer won't need to be involved with her mother for an extended period, because Martin Laurent admitted his identity and is behind bars. Kyle Abbott is a different calculation. He's not currently in love with Summer. Instead, he is falling in love with a woman Summer finds sickening, Claire Newman. Phyllis recently told Billy Abbott she must dive into work. The position he gave her at Abbott Media might be a remedy she needs, but his dalliance with Aristotle Dumas could create significant drama. Billy is exploring a full-fledged alliance with an individual who is a ghost. No one has ever seen this person. It's assumed that Aristotle is an eccentric businessman like Victor Newman, but for all anyone knows, this character could be a woman. The strange nature of Aristotle's outreach to Billy alone caused Phyllis to recoil, but he's broached the subject with his financier, Jack Abbott, and is moving cautiously ahead. The above means that Phyllis likely won't be able to use work as an escape until whatever Billy does with Aristotle becomes clear. Claire tried to kill multiple members of Summer's family, yet the newest Newman family member turned on the orchestrator of that intended horror and offered verbal contrition. Summer resents that Claire has been given a soapy pass by everyone purely because she's verbally rejected what her wacky great-aunt, Jordan Howard, intended. However, Chance Chancellor's insight was sharp. He suspected that Summer never got past Kyle, who suddenly ended their marriage, which blew up their cozy family for a dubious reason. Summer can't deny that truth. It seems likely that Audra Charles will make Kyle look guilty rather than him actually choosing to cheat on Claire. Viewers would have problems digesting Kyle having his head turned away from her and to Audra when he was never over the daytime moon for Silver's character during their initial connection. Audra has a significant incentive to do whatever is necessary to deliver what Victor demands. She expects to have a startup business funded by him if that happens. Claire's navy in the area of romantic relationships can be exploited. Audra is a master manipulator, so Victor has bought off that skill set. Kyle is primed to be bamboozled, which telegraphs to being part of Victor's plan to create chaos for the Abbotts. Holden joins Nate at the club bar and orders a Vesper. Nate thought he was leaving town. Holden explains plans changed. He's actually getting used to this place. He's surprised to see Nate too. He thought he'd be at home with Audra. Nate asks why that would matter to him. Holden apologizes and talk turns to Audra being unable to find work. Holden hopes Nate has better luck holding on to her than he did. Nate's surprised to hear him refer to their interaction as a relationship. Holden admits she is the one that got away. He wanted to get serious and she wanted to leave Nate muses. Your loss, my good fortune. At Nate's place, Audra plans a romantic surprise for Nate, while flashing to striking a deal with Victor to show how easy it would be to lure Kyle back into an affair. Looking at a framed photo of her and Nate, she seems stressed. Setting the table, she remembers more of her conversation with Victor and worries about him double-crossing her again. She flashes to him firing her. Why can't anything ever be easy for me? She exclaims. Audra grabs her phone and dictates a text to Sally. She tells her she's having second thoughts about the Victor thing. She might be right. He screwed her over once. Why wouldn't he do it again? Except now, he wants something only she can give. And it could be her last shot at owning her own company. She has to get rid of her doubts. Realizing she can't send the text, Audra deletes it and tells herself she'll be OK. She calls Nate and tells him his surprise is ready before worrying some more about Victor. She tells herself, you can do this, Audra. At the club, Nate pays his check. Holden guesses this is good night. Nate tells him Audra is planning a surprise for him at home, though it's none of his business. Holden muses that she always did like to keep him guessing. He reveals they were friends before anything else. He knows her pretty well. I hope you realize how lucky you are, and don't blow it with her like I did. Nate didn't ask him for advice. He suspects he's trying to draw some kind of battle lines, as though they're rivals for Audra's affection. I can assure you that's not the case, Nate declares. He wonders if this is going to be a problem, and if Holden will cross a line. Holden reassures him. He wishes him and Audra the best. Nate wonders why he keeps bringing up Audra's name and whatever relationship he had with her. Is that clear? Holden says he's just trying to make friendly chit-chat, and it's all they have in common. Nate doesn't see it as a way to bond. He reminds him they have Damien in common, but he's not talking about him. Nate warns him again, and Holden insists he's happy that Audra found someone. Nate leaves. At Society, Damien thanks Lily for coming. She was intrigued to get his call and hopes he's ready to answer some questions. He says, fire away. I'm a wide-open book. Lily wants to know everything about his boss, Aristotle Dumas. Damien says that's pretty complicated. Lily tells him to uncomplicate it for her and warns him this is his last chance to get her to believe he's on the up and up. Damien agrees to tell her everything, with one condition. This conversation has to stay between the two of them. He wants her word. Those are my terms. Lily scoffs at the idea he knows her well enough to look into her eyes and know if she's honest. He believes she's an honorable person. If she tells him something with those beautiful eyes, he'll have to believe she's telling the truth. Lily teases him about his lines. Damien insists her eyes are beautiful. Lily promises the conversation will stay between them. Damien's ready to talk then, but not there. In the park, Lily asks Damien why he's suddenly ready to open up to her about Dumas. He muses that his priorities have changed since the Nate and Amy revelations. He's thinking less about work and more about family. Lily can understand that. Damien teases that maybe he wanted to get on her better side too. It bothers him that she doesn't trust him. He's not trying to pull one over on her family, and he likes her. I don't want the people I like to think ill of me. Lily has her guard up because she's been burned by people she's known a lot longer than him. He says, fair enough. He tells her if coming clean about Dumas makes her trust him, it's worth the risk. Lily asks, so, what can you tell me? Damien says, to start with, Aristotle Dumas doesn't exist. Lily figured it was an alias. The literary references make it obvious. They go over the story of the Count of Monte Cristo, which is about a man seeking revenge on those who wronged him. Damien doesn't know his boss' motivations. He's never even met him face to face. Lily asks why he hired him. How did he even get on his radar? Damien says Dumas was on his radar. Dumas was unheard of, and then suddenly he was a big deal. He was impressed, so he invented a bogus backstory about himself to impress him. He was surprised to get a phone call and lied about his credentials. He pulled it off. Dumas probably knew from the moment he opened his mouth, but he must have impressed him with his pitch. He hired him to run 2 of his companies. He had to pretend to unload them while maintaining control privately. He became the frontman. He didn't hesitate or ask questions. Lily thinks this sounds shady and worries Dumas was setting him up. Damien says he didn't have 2 coins to rub together. If Dumas was the devil, he was ready to dance. Nate arrives at home to a steamy kiss from Audra, who pulls him inside. He admires her and her preparations, but wonders what the occasion is. She wanted to do something special for him since he's always pampering her. Audra explains that Amy's having dinner with Tracy Abbott, so they're alone. Nate and Audra toast, and she asks about his day. He says it was nothing compared to this. Audra has a confession to make. This evening is about him, but it's also about something else. Something big and exciting. Audra tells Nate she's finally landed a job. He's thrilled and hugs her. Audra was beginning to wonder if it was ever going to happen. He knows it's been a struggle for her. She loved spending time with him and getting to know Amy, but she was starting to lose confidence in herself. Nate asks which lucky company had the good sense to hire her. Audra pulls him to his feet and asks him to dance with her. As they slow dance, Nate asks if she'll keep the surprise about her job until after they eat. She says dinner can wait, and they start kissing and undressing. Devin arrives at the club on the phone with Abby, who is on her way back from Europe with Dominic. He tells her there's a lot to catch her up on and disconnects. Spotting Holden at the bar, Devin makes his way over. Holden says it must be family hour. Nate just left. Devin questions if Holden and Damien are staying in town. Holden wonders if they might not be welcome. He explains that his boss is spending time with his sick mother. Devin just wonders how Aristotle Dumas feels about Damien taking time off for personal business. Holden knows nothing about Dumas. Devin hopes he's spending time with Amy. Holden needles that for all he knows, he's out on a date right now with his sister. Devin tells him Damien and Lily aren't dating. Holden knows that. Devin wonders if he was trying to get a rise out of him. Holden tells Devin he's a prickly guy and explains Damien likes her a lot. Devin says Lily doesn't like him. Holden isn't so sure, and he wouldn't count Damien out. He goes after what he wants. The Young and the Restless spoilers for Tuesday, April 15, 2025 are here. In tomorrow's episode, fans can expect Nate Hastings to give Holden Novak a warning. Audra Charles makes a bold move. Plus, Leslie Winters pressures Damian Kane to confess. Keep reading and let's talk about what is coming up in the next episode of the CBS soap opera. First up, Tuesday's episode will feature Nate confronting Holden. In the past, Holden has tried to romantically reconnect with Audra. However, Audra is committed to Nate. However, it's more likely that this is about Damien. After Victor Newman's false intel, nobody knows what to believe. Damien insisted that he had no idea that Amy Lewis had cancer, and certainly not months prior to meeting Nate. Since Damien and Holden are good friends and business partners, Nate might warn that there better not be any funny business still going on. Nate has grown very close to Amy and cares about her very much. Nate is also concerned about what any more stress or bombshells could do to Amy's health. Over with Audra, she is tempted by Victor's deal. Audra has been out of work for months now. The brunette considered Glissade her baby, and it was devastated when it was ripped from under her. Of course, Audra doesn't exactly have the most moral history either. In any case, Audra makes a bold move. This could be the beginning of Audra getting Victor what he wants, but it could also mark the ending of her romance with Nate. Audra will have to keep secrets, and she knows Nate will dissuade her from any deal with Victor, so this will be a big crossroads for her. The Young and the Restless spoilers reveal that Lily will put some more pressure on Damien. Lily was fuming after Victor's false intel. Lily will confront the Genoa City newcomer and demand the truth. Damien finally agrees to tell her everything, but it will come at a price. Damien could ask Lily for another dinner date. Of course, Damien's condition might be for Lily to keep the truth from Amy. While Lily initially might agree, especially since Amy has poor health, it really depends on what exactly Damien's confession is, so stay tuned. Which storyline are you looking forward to seeing the most? Share your thoughts in the comment section below. Remember to keep watching the soap on CBS or Paramount Plus to find out what happens next. The Young and the Restless spoilers hint that Aristotle Dumas could unleash some party crasher chaos. Will the mysterious man behind this Aristotle persona finally show his face at Nikki Newman's upcoming celebration? Aristotle Dumas is an alias, so his true identity has become an important question on the show. I&R's building to the big reveal of who Aristotle actually is, and why he's so interested in making bold moves involving the key players of Genoa City. Victor Newman and Michael Baldwin have considered the possibility that Tucker McCall could be Aristotle, but that seems unlikely for one simple reason. They've already guessed it and ruined any potential surprise. If Aristotle is Tucker, then why would Y&R want to spoil their own story by having Victor and Michael speculate about them being the same person? The fact that Michael and Victor have mulled over Tucker as an option probably rules him out. Tucker may be a bit of a red herring as the show builds to the real Aristotle revelation. No matter who turns out to be Aristotle, maybe it's time to make some predictions about when he'll finally show his face on canvas. Nikki has a birthday coming up, so it won't be long until the Newmans are planning a fun celebration in her honor. Victor Newman will want to pull out all the stops and make sure Nikki knows she's loved. Pietro the party planner will appear starting May 28 for 4 episodes connected to this storyline. Nikki's birthday bash is obviously going to be a huge deal and could serve as the backdrop for this long-awaited Aristotle Dumas shocker. Victor wants to lure Aristotle out of hiding, so perhaps his plan will pay off when Aristotle crashes Nikki's special day. Maybe Aristotle will reveal who he actually is when he comes strutting in as an unplanned party guest. The Young and the Restless spoilers say some major Aristotle news is on the way, so stick with us for updates on how this mystery man will shake up GC. Claire feels the heat and Audra eyes her next move. For the Wednesday, April 16 episode of The Young and the Restless, spoilers photos show the nightlife is hopping in Genoa City, and so are the secrets and schemes. The jazz club is the place to be, especially for a fun little date night. Kyle and Claire hit up the joint for a few drinks and an evening of sparks and romance. Will those sparks be with each other, though? Claire may feel some flames when Holden gets her alone at the bar for a few moments. Oh, will Kyle soon have competition? Speaking of competition, Audra also hits up the club with Nate on her arm. They'll spend some time checking in with Holden before turning their attention solely to each other. Well, at least for Nate's part anyway. We're sure Audra will have other things, and other men, on her mind, particularly her mark, Kyle. Meanwhile, Lily and Damien hit up Society for a bite to eat and a little chat. Will she finally get to peel back some of his layers and get to know the real Damien? Unfortunately, her efforts may be accidentally thwarted when Abby and Devin turn up at the table. The Young and the Restless spoilers for Wednesday, April 16, point to Jack and Kyle unearthing sabotage at Jabat. How will they strike back, and at whom? Jack and Kyle are back to working together again at Jabat. Until the next time, Kyle finds something not to his liking and leaves. But for now, they're a united front. They both want Jabat to succeed. And that won't happen if the person stealing corporate secrets, it's not Kyle, this time, gets away with their underhanded ways. Jack and Kyle will figure out who it is, and they'll stop them. If not, it's not too late, and the person responsible isn't someone they trust. Is Victor behind the Jabat strife? Since Victor is required by Genoa city law to be behind all things, it's always a possibility. For the moment, though, he is focusing on destroying Billy. Why? Well, we think it's primarily because Billy is one of the few people who refuses to bow down to Victor. Even when he was married to Victor's precious Victoria. Doesn't Billy realize that makes him Victor's property? Nope, it would seem Billy doesn't. Victor is happy to show him the error of his ways, and if it brings down both Billy and Jack as part of the learning process, all the better. Audra agreed to seduce Kyle and make sure Claire knows about it, in exchange for Victor funding her next business venture. But she can't exactly be this blunt with Nate about it, can she? So Audra gives him the good news, without the bad news, or the full news. What Nate doesn't know will hurt somebody. My and Our star Eileen Davidson shows off her humorous side in a BTS skit. The Young and the Restless cast is made up of an amazing group of talented actors and actresses. What many fans may not know is that the cast has other special skills. As seen from Eileen Davidson's recent social media post, some have comedic and musical talent. Filming a soap opera every day is a hard and long process. Between rehearsing, hair and makeup, and waiting to be called on set, the cast spends all day at the studio. But it's not all just work on the Y and R set. When the cast isn't filming, they love to have fun behind the scenes. Davidson is the latest star who's been showing some of the hijinks that happen at the studio. On Friday, she posted an Instagram video of her and co-stars Melissa Ordway, Amelia Heinel, and Melissa Claire Egan performing a humorous skit. In homage to the hashtag Maharella sisters, Davidson wrote in reference to a classic Saturday Night Live sketch. The video starts with Ordway, Heinel, and Egan in the makeup room singing. "I'm Melissa," Ordway sang. Heinel was next with, "I'm Amelia, I'm Missy," Egan crooned. Davidson then popped in, holding 2 hairbrushes to her face and loudly singing, "And I'm Eileen." "On my face skit ever," co-star Elizabeth Hendrickson wrote. Tracy Bregman replied with the emojis. Fans also offered their praise for the humorous skit. "Holy Moses, I laughed way too hard at that," wrote one follower. "You should have did that in the Susan Banks voice," one commenter recommended. "I needed this laugh. Thanks, gals," wrote one fan. While the ladies had fun behind the scenes, it was soon back to work for Davidson and her co-stars. There's a lot of drama coming to Genoa City and serious material for the cast to memorize. But if Y&R ever decides to do comedy, Davidson can pull it off. Damien gave Lily a big speech on the April 15 episode of The Young and the Restless. He told her he wanted to reinvent himself and that the mysterious Alexander Dumas was the only one who would give him a shot. This is why he is so loyal to him. Damien also said that Dumas popped up out of nowhere, and nobody knows exactly who he is. Why does he need Lily to believe this so badly? Is it because, otherwise, Lily might start suspecting who is really hiding behind the pretentious literary name? Could the man Damien is fronting for be Lily's ex-husband, Kane? Kane is a trained con artist. They're good at getting money they have no right to have. Remember when he stole Devon's rightful inheritance from him? Kane swore it wasn't him, and he left Genoa City to prove to Lily he is innocent. He hasn't been back since. Maybe he's been busy. Maybe Kane has decided it's high time to come back to the city he once called home, and this is the only one to make it happen without setting off serious alarms. Maybe Kane is too busy traveling the globe as a single dad, looking to prove his innocence of a crime nobody in Genoa City remembers anymore. Which means he isn't Dumas. But what if his dad, Colin, is? Colin is an even better con man than Kane. Colin pulled the wool over Jill's eyes, and Jill isn't dumb. So what if it's Colin who's looking for his chance to come back to town a winner? Amelia Heinel has played the young and the restless Victoria Newman for over 20 years, but when it comes to her favorite chapter in Victoria's complicated love life, she doesn't even have to think twice. It was while playing opposite the legendary Billy Miller. Working with my dear, departed Billy Miller was probably the most incredible period, Heinel recently shared in an interview with Soaps.com. It was so special and the kind of experience you're forever grateful to have had. It's no secret that many fans feel the same. The love story between Victoria is one for the ages, and many first fell head over heels for the couple, while Miller was playing the Abbott heir. Fans couldn't get enough of the magnetic pull between Victoria, the buttoned-up Newman Harris, and Miller's irresistible version of Billy Abbott, the charming bad boy. There was undeniable spark, mischief, vulnerability, and fun. According to Heinel, it wasn't just good television, it was pure magic. We were having so much fun, she reminisced. I think anyone who worked with Billy or met him had fun. He was just the most fun person. He loved everyone, and everyone loved him. And while soap romances come and go, this one stuck, not just with viewers, but with the actress herself. I never wanted it to end, and I told myself it was never going to get any better, she confessed, because it was just the best time I'd ever had. Heinel credits Miller with bringing something out in her personally, but also in Victoria. I feel as if working with Billy sort of opened me up a bit, she reflected, and I feel as if Victoria changed because of that time in her life. For a character like Victoria, who is so often defined by work, family drama, and that Newman legacy, her relationship with Billy felt like a breath of fresh air. They were yin and yang, Heinel explained. It allowed Victoria to loosen up, and to realize there was more to life than being Victor Newman's daughter. The Young and the Restless spoilers for the next 3 weeks, April 14 to May 2, divulge that fans will see new beginnings, romantic surprises, and stealthy plans. So let's get started talking about all of the juice that's coming your way. We can tell you that Lily Winters unravels an intriguing mystery, and Audra Charles gets busy trying to seduce Kyle Abbott. During the week of April 14 to 18, Tracy Abbott puts on her big girl pants and leaves Genoa City to visit Ashley Abbott in New York. There they talk about Cad Martin Laurent and how to move forward. You know what they say, move on, mourn forever. Meanwhile, Phyllis Summers knows that Martin is the one who kidnapped her, but she's still unsettled. Why did Martin target Phyllis and Sharon Newman? It's a riddle inside a cipher wrapped up in a mystery. Fans will see Phyllis struggle to move on, and we all know what happens when Phyllis is in a bad place. Just saying. At least Red has Abbott communications to focus on, and she may be able to help Billy Boy realize what Victor Newman has planned for the company. At the same time, Jack and Kyle find more secrets at Jeboat, courtesy of Victor. Diane Jenkins Abbott is around to help Jack work to scheme against Victor's tactics, as the Abbott-Newman feud goes ballistic. To this end, Diane confronts Michael Baldwin with questions about what he knows. Diane wants to get Michael to sing like a canary, but we all know where Michael's loyalty lays. He would take a bullet for his father figure. Will Victor see Michael and Diane together and lay the law down about not spilling intel or else? During the week of April 21 to 25, Michael must face facts and realize that his marriage to Lauren Fenmore Baldwin could be upset due to his loyalty to Victor. Lauren sees her husband stressed and knows exactly who's to blame. Meanwhile, the Grand Minx Audra makes plans to make Kyle look like a liar and a cheat in Claire Newman's eyes. This shouldn't be too hard to do, since they have been down the bumping boots road before. But now that Nate Hastings is in the picture, he could sense that something is off, and he'd be right. He will also see Holden Novak flirting with Audra, which ticks him off. If he only knew. Sharon and Nick Newman are overseas, so will they take the opportunity to build their relationship further? They have been in the friend zone forever. Do you want to see Schick reunite Wooly and R fans? During the week of April 28 May 2, Jack and Diane are in a romantic mood. Is it time for her to unveil the Abbott Mansion renovations? Could be, and then she and Jack would have the perfect opportunity to christen their abode. Elsewhere, Victor has a surprise for Nikki. A wedding planner named Pietro is on screen in May, and it could be that Victor uses him to create a lush birthday bash for his wife. It turns out that Lily has a secret admirer. She will receive flirty messages and expensive presents, but who is the sender? Could it be Aristotle Dumas? Definitely maybe. The Young and the Restless spoilers for the next 3 weeks promise fun, excitement, and razzle-dazzle to brighten your day, and we will bring you all the thrilling updates as they become available.